guys, and welcome back to my channel. I know I have been MIA, but life be life, and I'm Kay Reeds. And in today's video, I am back with another Arthur spotlight. Cannot talk today. I am very excited about this writer because I found her when she first started. Didn't read her first book, but further on, it was her poly book for me that was like, okay, I'm here. She is, I want to say, a newbie author. She is also about to do her first, well, I think one of your first big book events coming up.
I just did my first event ever this past weekend at the Miami Urban Romance.
Okay.
Yeah. So I did that one this past weekend. So this will be but this will be bigger because this is like more readers are coming to this one. So
Yes.
I guess technically it's still my biggest event ever. So yeah.
Okay, well, we're getting to that. I have with me Charleigh Harper today. So how are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming, even though after I reschedule. Life be life, y'all.
It's okay.
So my first question that I ask every interviewee that comes, how and why did you start writing?
I'm a long time reader. I love reading. I've been reading in general. I don't know, elementary school, childhood, elementary school. I've been reading Black romance. I started in urban, and like Zane, Wandita Clark, way before I was supposed to be reading that kind of stuff. It's like middle school. So I've been an avid reader. I love reading. And sometimes, like as a reader, when you're reading books, you'd be like, oh, I would have done this, or wouldn't have been crazy if the characters did this, or this happened in the story. So I kind of wanted to create those stories that were in my head that was like, okay, maybe this situation would work better this way, or I wonder what would have happened this way. I wanted to kind of create those stories, but, my own version of those stories.
Okay, cool. So I see that you are with KMP. If you guys don't know what that is KC Mills Publishing Company. I know that you got a lot of heavy hitters on there. Because I also know that ML Bash is on there. Shout out to her. So what made her publishing company stand out? On top of what have you learned since being there?
One thing that makes her publishing company stand out to me is KC, because like she's like the GOAT. When I got into urban as I got older, I would just go spend days and days and days going through Casey's catalog. Before she started her publishing company, when she was with other publishers and all that stuff. Like I am a Casey fan. Like I love her books. I love her writing. So I was like, already. It's funny enough that when I actually did submit to her company, I actually didn't know that she was open for submissions for new authors. And I submitted to another company, and then me and ML Bash were actually I read her books prior to signing. So I kind of just like, I don't know, we were talking about one of her books or something, but we were in the DMs on Instagram. And I think I just asked like, wait, you're signed to KMP, right? So like, is she open for submission? She was like, yeah. And she sent me like the post where, the KMP page that they were open for submission. I was like, bet, submitted it. And I got to talk on the phone with Casey, and I was just like fangirling because it's Casey Mills, right?
Yeah.
So it was a no brainer for me.
Okay, cool. I love that. So let's get into the books that I've read. I have read pretty much all your poly romances, but it's okay because I love it. I was skimming through Zakari's Pleasure, and I got to the last scene of that book. What? Okay, I'm gonna spoil it. So if you don't read it not for a while, there's a scene in where I believe it's her close friends, if I'm not mistaken.
Her brother's best friends.
Her brother's best friends, yes. She's supposed to go on a date, but the date is outside of the door of her apartment. Her boyfriend. I'm sorry, her boyfriend.
Yeah.
Supposed to do a date. Basically, the dude said, if you don't want to hear your girlfriend having sex, you need to leave. Basically, that's kind of all it goes. What made you write that? Because I was reading, when I first read it and I was reading it, I was like, damn, they are bold as hell. And the fact that the boyfriend actually left makes it even crazier.
So that was actually my first ever erotica. So I know when the
You
project
did
was
the damn thing, so kudos to you.
well, here's the thing. When the project was presented, it's supposed to be this and love. This was erotica. It's like it's just supposed to be nasty. So I'm like, okay, what is the craziest things I could think of? And like you said, there's a lot of heavy hitters on the on with the company. So I was like, I can't come half stepping. Like I
Mhm.
can't. You know, that wasn't my first book that wasn't my first book published under KMP. But like I said, it was my first erotica, and I wanted to be able to stand next to. I wanted to make sure that my spot was earned,
Got
next
you.
to everybody else on the line. So I was just like, want to be real, good if they were like disrespectful. And it didn't start there because if you remember the scene where where it wasn't all of them, the boyfriend was in a room asleep and
Yes.
he's like, yeah, yeah. So I don't know. I was just like, let's put this in a book.
Yeah,
And
I was like,
sometimes like I don't even think because I'm an outliner, so I don't even think I had outlined that part. 'Cause like as some authors know, like when you're writing, the characters just talk to you, and then
that is very true.
sometimes it just take a different direction. And I just was like in my flow, and it just came out.
And sometimes, even when you outline, because I'm starting to learn to outline,
Hmm.
so I know I can't stand it. Because I always go outside of the outline. But even if you don't even outline it, like you said, it just happens. Sometimes those be the best things
Yeah,
that
well,
make the
clearly because you
actual
liked it, so I'm glad that
exactly. And
my
then we
deviation worked for you.
facts. And
Yes.
then I read Will You Be Ours? And I think that it was very steamy.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it was just such a sweet romance at the same time. Because both like the couple wanted her for her.
Hmm.
And they really
Right.
didn't care about anything else. So the fact that she got loved in both, I was like, oh, to be a fly on the wall.
Yeah. A
You
flower
know,
ball.
I love
Yeah.
that. And then I'm currently reading, I know it's been out for a minute, but I'm currently reading Marked and Claimed right now.
Hmm.
That twist in hold up, let me get my right. I think chapter 6. No, chapter 5. When they spoiler alert again, when is it Nasiri?
Hmm.
Okay, Siri. Basically, father told them exactly how she is, and then after that scene,
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting one of the characters to be bisexual. That threw
Yeah.
me for a loop.
That was the point. That's what I was kind of going for.
Okay.
So I'm glad that it hit the mark.
Because I was reading it and I was like, I had to go back and I was like, wait a minute, she doesn't say anything about bisexuality.
Yeah.
So what made you write Zeri? This is I'm reading it now, girl. What are you doing? What's the
Nasir?
name? Yes. Not this, yes. What you made him be bisexual? Like what was it about? Because I understood when Darius basically saying like we've been messing around for a few years, and I know that he's an alpha, he has his reputation,
Hmm.
and he was basically scared to like I guess come out because of his reputation. What
Right.
made you want to be like, all right, this is the one that's going to be bisexual?
Well, technically, they were both bisexual because they were,
Yeah, true.
interacting. So,
Yeah.
like you said, like he was just afraid, like he, just took over his father's, his parents' pet, and like he was this alpha. Alphas are supposed to have this big, macho, tough kind of aura, and so they had been messing around before they found their fated mate. So, I just kind of like that's kind of why I wanted to have that little like that surprise, like wait, were they, because like they had kept it on down low, like so nobody other than them, like nobody in the pack knew, and they were just like, look, we found our mate now, our bond with her is growing, and we've already, like, they weren't fated mates obviously, but they already had a bond because they
Mhm.
were friends, they were previously lovers. So it just, I don't know, I just put it together.
Well, I loved it, and I also love the way that Darius basically once she found out and was
Mhm.
once they got history, how Darius was just like, I don't really care, but I kept it to see it because of you. But now that we
Yeah.
like you said, now that we have our mate, I told him straight up, if we can't be public, then we're not doing it anymore.
Right.
He stood his
It's like
ground for it.
because who wants to be a secret forever? Like, look, I've done it your way. I was a secret, whatever, but I'm not about to do that anymore. Either be 10 toes down for me, or we're not doing nothing at all.
Period. And I love that. I'm not done with the book all the way, but from what I've read so far, I think I am liking this paranormal poly
That was my
romance.
first paranormal too. So
And you're girl, all these first, and you're killing them.
yeah.
So what is it about writing a paranormal that you like, even though it is your first one, do
Mhm.
you see yourself writing more in the future?
Man, so that book is a duo with ML Bash's Spellmate. So if you haven't read that one, make sure you read that one too.
Okay.
But man, I was fighting for my life when I was writing that paranormal book.
Really? Why?
Yeah, I mean, I like reading paranormal, and I think my actual first Black paranormal author I read was Drea Anderson. And I just like, I enjoy reading the paranormal. So I was like, let me try my hand.
Mhm.
I would like to, in my author career, to try to touch a little bit of, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, if I'm supposed to have one specific genre that I'm supposed to write about. But I would like to actually try my hand in a little bit of all the different genres under that encapsulates Black romance. So I just, like I said, I love reading paranormals. So I wanted, and I think it was her idea. I can't remember whose idea this duo was, but I know I was fighting for my life writing that because paranormals. Now, obviously, this was a short, so I didn't have to do a terrible amount of like world building and things
Mhm.
like that. So it's just like, but it was a different element. Like again, I'm still a novice author, but just learning that and like having to like pause to go back to read like a paranormal book to make sure like in the paranormal worlds when you make rules, because obviously it's your book, so you can make the rules whatever you want in your world, but you have to
Yeah.
make sure that you stick to those rules, because you can't have them do one thing at the beginning of the book and then the rules change later. Like how did the rules change? And if the rules change because like, so it was just a lot. And I don't know, I won't say I won't ever write another paranormal, but I feel like I might do, I don't know, because paranormal is very, very vast too. Because I've had people a little bit confused about that book. Because
Mm.
like if you've seen at the beginning, because I personally like that when I read paranormals, how sometimes where like for werewolves specifically, how they are sometimes a different entity. Like the
Mhm.
wolf and the human is a different entity. So like I could talk to I could talk to my wolf, and my wolf can like speak to like other wolves. So some people were like, well, why? Like when you say the wolf's name, they're talking like they were confused about that. And I was like,
Oh,
well,
because of the names.
I was
Got
like,
you.
because that's a separate entity. Like
Yeah.
they're two different, like they're in one body unless they're shift, when they shift. But some people were confused about that. So I was like, I don't know if I didn't execute it correctly but definitely do a little bit more research and probably get me some. Well, I think I had betas, but flesh it out a little bit more, make sure it's better, make sure that it's not confusing. Because I want to make sure, like, that's what I was trying to execute. So if people were confused about that, I was like, maybe I didn't hit the mark on that then. But it was my first one. So it was not completely out of the park, out of, but it was just, like I said,
Well,
I was
like you
fighting.
said, too, yeah, it's your first one, so you can always,
Mhm.
pull better.
Of
I
course.
will say go for it. Try everything because Christina C. Jones does it. She does paranormal. I think she has a paranormal book coming out next week.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've read like
Ari,
The Curious and the whole, that,
yeah.
yeah, that whole,
So
that whole,
if they can do it, you definitely can hop genres as long as you keep it Black romance, like you said. So,
yeah.
girl, do it. I have faith in you that you will do it. So, before we get into the Black Romance Book Festival, let's go
Mhm,
backtrack and talk about the Miami Expo Book Festival.
mhm.
How was that? Because I've seen the pictures and it looked like it was packed.
Yeah, and this was the first year. This was her first year doing it. So I think for like the first year, yeah, it was a great turnout. I didn't think it was unorganized. Like, Esteban did a great job on her part with, curating it, like the DJ. They had food for us, like, drinks for us and everything. And I think it was a great experience. Like I said, I mean, I've been to many events as a reader, but this
Mhm.
is my first event as an author. So I think it was a great event. Like I said, great turnout as far as readers coming out. There was an event Friday, but my flight got delayed 4 times. So I ended up missing that. Yeah,
Mm.
4 times. I was supposed to
Four
get
times is crazy.
4 times.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
I was stressed. So I ended up missing the 90s party event, which I really wanted to go to because I had my 90s outfit and everything and I was ready. But I missed that party. But I've heard, from the pictures you've seen and like my other friends that were there, they had a great time. But I think she put on a great event and I can't wait to see how she continues to put this on and how it grows and things like that.
That's good. Shout out to Esteban. Because I honestly, the way that it was like curated, I thought she was doing this. for like a while because there was so many people. But to say that's her first
Mhm.
event,
I,
she's
that
knocking out the
this
park.
oh I don't know if this is her first event ever, but this was the first event for the Urban Expo. That's from my understanding. This was the first Urban
Okay,
Expo event. Yeah. So I don't know if she's ever put on other events,
got you.
but
Okay, well, she's still
yeah,
knocking out the park. So let's
yeah.
talk about this Black Romance Book Fest
Hmm.
because one, as a writer, I was upset that I missed the deadline because I didn't even know it was happening until everybody else basically was like, "Oh yeah, I'm
Yeah.
going." One.
Yeah.
Two, as a reader, I'm mad because it's sold out like crazy.
Right.
And I'm only 4 hours away from the area because it's in Atlanta, Georgia.
Hmm.
Guys, it will be during Memorial Day weekend. So
Hmm.
just from the lineup alone,
Man. So I found out about it pretty early on.
mm,
So I was really happy to get a spot because again, I'm a novice author. Not many people know me yet. So
mhm,
when they started doing the announcements and some of the names they were dropping, I was like, oh, nobody's coming to my table. They're gonna be in Beverly Jenkins line. They're about to be in case they're gonna be in these lines for these heavy hitters that's gonna be
yeah,
here. So I'm like, y'all still come see me too. So, but I'm really excited to be in a room to even have my name on the lineup with some of these big names to
yeah,
be at this event that's been sold out multiple times because they've added more tickets and then they've
mhm.
been sold out again. So, yep, I'm planning on being there for the whole weekend. I'm on a panel, so I'm excited about that. I'm actually on a Why Choose panel, so
Okay,
yeah, so I'm excited about that. I'm just excited about the event in general.
cool. So even and like I said, you're on a panel, so that
Mhm.
also gives you more courage to for people to be like, oh, I don't know her, but let me get
Mhm.
a book by her real quick to see how she like
Right.
see if she's looking or not. So that works out perfectly for you.
Yes.
Congratulations once again.
Thank you.
Definitely planning to go next year for sure.
Yes.
Um, as okay, so I'm gonna ask you as a reader and a writer, as
Mhm.
a reader, who are you looking most forward to seeing and meeting?
Um, I'd have to look at the lineup again and see who all is going to be there because there's so many people.
There's so many people.
I'm pretty much. I feel like I've met. No, I don't know if CCJ is going to be there because I was excited to meet her because when she was supposed to be at Alexandria House's house experience,
Mhm.
not the one. It was like 2 years ago, but she was pregnant and she ended up
Yeah,
having
so
to
she
pull
didn't
out.
come. Yeah,
So I didn't get to see her, but I have to check the lineup again because I cannot remember if she's on the lineup.
I
There's so
don't
many
think she's
authors
going
on it.
to be there for that one, but she is going to be at the house party this year
No,
because
not that. Yeah, I can't do
I
the
got
house.
invited for the house party as a writer. So I know she's going to be there for that, and I think she's doing Indie Love. I don't think she's doing the BRF.
I have to look at the lineup again, but there's so many dope authors again. Like I'm just excited to meet everybody. I'm hoping that I have the time to spend some coins. Sometimes I can go around
Yeah.
and meet everybody to get some books because when I'm as a reader, when I go to when I go to book events, even like new to me authors, like I've never read a book from you. I still like to stop by everybody's table and support them and support their craft. And even if I'm just buying one book, I try
Okay.
to hit everybody, but I don't know if I'm able to hit everybody because it's so it's so many authors. So I'm
Yeah,
gonna do my
they
best.
did a big one to say this is gonna be their
Yeah.
first event like this. They killed it out the park. And
Yes.
as a writer, what are you
Mhm.
what are you most looking forward to as a writer?
Um. Again, I hope I have time because they have like the panels all day. But there's some panels that I would actually like to sit on. Like, they have like marketing panels and like improving your writing panels, and I love those kind of things because I'm all about development, like developing as a writer, becoming better, perfecting my craft. So I really would love to sit in and like listen to the OGs talk about their journey and how to better and like what resources or things like that. So I'm definitely hoping that I can get to sit in on some of these panels.
Okay, cool. So my next question is as a new reader, if somebody's watching this for the first time,
Hmm.
what is one book in your catalog that you would recommend to them?
That's a hard question. Okay. I had to ask me that at this last book event because it's like, it depends on what you like to read. Because
Okay.
I have the cutesy romance stuff, and then if you're in the song, I got my Y2s, I got my eroticas, and then I have the one paranormal. So like if you're into like their romance, if you're into the cutesy, then I definitely would say my first ever book would be Forever Us because that one was straight romance. Like obviously they had scenes in there, but that was primarily a romance novel. But again, like, but if you're into more like why choose, then if you're looking for more for develop actually like why erotica romance, then like you said, I would say Will You Be Ours. And then again, if you like paranormal, then I have the one paranormal. But it's just like it really depends on what you like. So I can't. That's why usually when people ask me, I'm like, well, what do you like to read? Because then I can help you out, and navigate you towards my catalog of, what you can get in. But it really depends. Also, I mean, like I said,
Hey, you gave an answer. That's all. Different. You got genres, and that's a good
yeah.
thing though, as a writer, to have multiple different subplot, like
Hmm.
subgenres. Like you said, if somebody does want to feel very freaky, go
Hmm.
to Zachary Pleasure, or if they want to
Yeah.
feel like, oh, I want her and him, go to Your Why Chooses. So I think that's
Yeah.
dope. So another question:
Hmm.
as a newbie in the game, what is some advice you would give someone else who wants to be where you are at the moment?
Um, I don't know. I'm still a newbie, so it feels awkward giving somebody else's advice. But I don't know. I guess I would say, I guess kind of listen to the critique, but well, that's like a double-edged sword. So like listen, but I don't know how to say this. I would not to not listen to your readers, but because there's always going to be somebody who will put a 1 star on it and say, I don't like this character's name. And it had nothing to do with your actual book, with the plot, with anything that's going on in the book. So, but obviously listen to critiques where it's like, hey, maybe you should develop your scenes more, like better yourself in your writing. Seek those critiques, but seek them from like, like I'm on KMP, so if I want critiques, I'll hit Casey and like, hey Casey, how can I better my writing? What can I do to have better books, to have more fleshed out stories, or I need help with this. So I guess not being afraid to um, seek criticism or seek suggestions, or to be better, because I mean, I don't think anybody starts off just perfect writing. Like it's not going to be perfect. Like I can probably go back through my first book and find things that could be fixed. And I don't mean like radical errors. I mean like maybe I left a plot hole, or maybe I could have answered this question, or maybe I could have fleshed out my characters more. So um just just continuing to grow as an author, no matter, I guess, no matter what stage. I'm sorry, my husband's mocking me at the
You're
door.
fine. You're fine.
But yeah, so just continue to grow. If you're able to find, mentors, definitely do that. Because even before, like my first book, I released that completely indie. I wasn't on the KMP yet, but I reached out to another author who was amazing, and she gave me resources. She gave me recommendations for like author resources books, like writing books that I could get off of Amazon, so that way I can like use as the source and like again better my writing to help me through the writing. um I had my first book when I, published it on my own. The editor that I used, she was a resource. That's how I knew that I was an outline girly, because I was writing my first book and I was like, I'm stuck. I don't know where else to go. And she's like, well, try outlining. And I outlined and I was able to map out the story and see it in my head, and I was able to write it. So using your resources, not being afraid to reach out. Um, I guess that's what I would say.
Okay, cool. I like that answer. And the last question before we get out of here is a new question that
Mhm.
I've been asking my interviewees. What does Black romance mean to you?
Um, Black romance to me is just basically showing Black love in all its varieties. Um, I am not a struggle love fan. I don't think Black love is a one facet kind of thing. So it is multidimensional, and I think Black romance is showing all the dimensions of Black love, of Black romance, of falling in love, of finding new love, second chance love, like all the things, all of that is Black love.
I love that answer because it is so true, especially the
Yeah.
things that you now see on TikTok and how other people
Mm.
of who are not POC are reading urban fiction and all that stuff now,
Mhm.
and they're saying it's Black. And I was like, well, it's not for you.
Yeah. But
Oh,
that's what I said. So many facets to like, to Black romance. Even in like you said, the urban romance book, like he might be a plug, but he might love his woman down. She might still get that princess treatment,
Mhm.
but he also might have a strong hand on the streets. Like,
Exactly.
that just might have be life is sometimes. But that's why we need Black authors, BIPOC authors to show that, because we can show Black love through our lens.
I love that answer. Charlie, thank you so much for
No
coming.
problem.
Please make sure if you guys are going to the Black Romance Book Fest that's happening next month, go to her table.
Yes.
Go to her table, go to her table, support this Black
Mhm.
Arthur. Please go to her table. I'll have all of her information in the comments below. I'm going to try to come back. Like I said, life been life in, because I'm also life in life, and I'm also writing my ninth book right now too. So I'm going to try to.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm going to try to come back slowly but surely. But at the end of the day, I'm Kay Reeves. Thank you guys for tuning in once again. And as always, be you, love you, have confidence, be yourself, and always remember to write what you want to read and read what you love. Bye.